Good evening, you're watching Left, Right and Centre. I'm Vishnu Shom. How do you fathom a tragedy so brutal that it shatters everything we hold sacred? Radhika Yadav, a 25-year-old tennis star from Gurugram, whose racket once carved dreams across courts, whose spirit soared in ITF doubles, was murdered in her own kitchen. Her father, Deepak Yadav, fired 5 bullets, 3 apparently into her back as she cooked breakfast on the 10th of July. She died in hospital, her light extinguished. Why? For daring to shine? For building a life that outgrew his control? This isn't just murder, it's a betrayal of love, of family, of humanity itself. Theories continue to swirl like vultures. They say Deepak was humiliated, mocked in Wazirabad for living off Radhika's earnings. She'd opened a tennis academy after a shoulder injury ended her career, coaching children with the same fire that made her a state champion. But her success bruised his ego, her own father's ego. Villagers called him weak and dependent. He begged her to close the academy to dim her brilliance. She said no. Was that refusal her death sentence? In a society obsessed with male pride, did her ambition become a crime? Then there's her voice, her Instagram reels, her role in a 2024 music video, Karwan. Deepak disapproved, demanded that she erase her online presence. Were those scenes, that public persona, too much for his honor? Did whispers about her character push him to pull that trigger? The police are digging, but the truth is murky. Was it the academy, the reels, or both? A toxic mix of patriarchal rage and social pressure that turned a father into a killer.
A medieval horror in the Millennium City. A young, promising tennis player, 25-year-old Radhika Yadav, was shot dead by her own father inside their home in Gurugram. A murder that has sent shockwaves across the country. What could lead a father to shoot his own daughter? Radhika was a state-level tennis player, a daughter, a coach, and the pride of the family, until that pride turned into taunts and then murderous rage. Her father, Deepak Yadav, shot her using his licensed .32 bore revolver. According to the FIR, Radhika and her mother, Manju Yadav, lived on the first floor of their Sushant Lok residence. Shockingly, Manju was at home when the murder happened, in the same portion of the house.
देखिए, ये जो वीडियो है, ये वीडियो इस हत्या की वारदात से करीब 1.25 से 1.5 साल पहले का है और जो फिलहाल तक इन्वेस्टिगेशन है उसमें परिवार ने बताया है कि ये वीडियो उनके कंसेंट से बनाया गया था और इस वीडियो को लेकर के कहीं भी कोई डाउट ना तो पुलिस के समक्ष है और ना ही इन्वेस्टिगेशन में कोई ऐसा फैक्ट सामने आया है। हत्या की सिर्फ फिलहाल तक एक ही वजह सामने आई है, वो था टेनिस एकेडमी।
Radhika's uncle Kuldeep Yadav was the first to reach the spot after hearing gunshots. He alleges that Deepak was unhappy with Radhika's growing independence and success, especially her tennis academy, which she ran independently. The accused father has told police that locals taunted him for living off daughter's income and that enraged him, which led to the murder. A stark reminder of the patriarchal and medieval mindset that still endangers women in our country. Then there was also Radhika's love for making reels and music videos that further led to regular confrontations with her father. The motive behind the killing is still under scrutiny, but questions are also being raised about why Manju Yadav, present in the house, neither heard nor intervened. She has so far refused to record a formal statement with the police.
हत्या की जो पीछे की वजह है वो एक टेनिस एकेडमी चलाने है, जिसके लिए उन्होंने मना किया तो उसने ये बात नहीं मानी, तो इसकी वजह से उन्होंने गुस्से में इस वारदात को अंजाम दिया गया। कुछ पेंडिंग लीगल प्रोसेस हैं जिनको पूरी करने के लिए पुलिस के द्वारा उनकी कस्टडी हासिल की गई है।
कितने दिन की रिमांड मिली है?
1 दिन का मिला है।
1 दिन का। सर, क्या कुछ रिकवरी करनी है या कहानी जो ये
एमुनेशन रिकवर करना है?
एमुनेशन कहाँ फेंका है सर, बताया अभी तो कुछ?
इसके इनकी जमीन है कासम गांव में, वहाँ से लेकर आना है।
कौन सी गांव से सर?
कासम।
कहाँ पे?
रेवाड़ी के पास ही।
A young life cut short, a father now in custody, a mother silent, and a family torn apart. by a gun, by ambition, and by a truth still waiting to come out.
It's not just a crime and a murder. It's much more. A sad commentary about women who are financially independent and are living a public life on their own terms. About how they have to face trauma, pressure and even bullets like Radhika Yadav. With camera person Pooja Arya, this is Anushka Garg for NDTV.
Well, joining us now, Rohit Rajpal. He's been a champion Indian tennis player, president of the Delhi Lawn Tennis Association. He's been a captain of the Indian Davis Cup team as well. Thank you, Rohit, very much for being with us. It's just such a tragic occasion, not just for sports lovers across the country, but I think it's about what we become as a society, where a young, successful woman, her life is snuffed out apparently because her father was jealous of his own daughter. What does it say about some people?
Firstly, I think everybody's in shock in the tennis fraternity as well. I spoke to some people who knew her and the father as well. And this has come as a great shock because normally you see parents behave in all kinds of ways. Sometimes, at least in India, you see a lot of parents actually obsessing over their children and they have their own ambitions, which they want the children to fulfill. So a lot of pressure on the kids. And parents counseling, for example, does not exist at the moment. I think it's a very, very important factor. If you go train abroad, you see that parents counseling is as much given importance as the player development programs. And the roles that parents need to play needs to be defined, and their ambitions need to be realistic and managed, etc., etc. Which I think it's a bit of a complex problem. I see that obviously the father lost his cool and obviously took the life of the child. I was told that he was all the time on the courts as well when she was playing, traveling with her, and but really never saw any aggression as such. He was I think pretty well behaved as a father, and very, very sad. I mean, very, very sad to see this happen. Of course, it's an eye opener for all the people concerned with sports and sports training. That as India grows with sport and as a sporting power, it's very, very important to bring in parents counseling.
Rohit, I think it's beyond just the counseling of parents. I think this was a man who, according to so many reports, was jealous of the success of his own daughter. He wanted her apparently to shut down her academy. He was apparently, spoken to by people in his own village who said that, why are you dependent on the success of your own daughter? There was an element of jealousy in this, which stems at the core of the problem, patriarchy. And it's not just tennis, it's about what we have become in our country. How is this the worst example, in a sense, of where patriarchy can lead us?
Yeah, I mean, I think things are changing as we evolve as a country. You see a lot of the kids coming out and making their parents and their villages proud, whether they're boxers, wrestlers, etc. Where previously it was looked at as a man's game, but the girls are actually doing much better than the boys these days. And if you pick the sport, and you'll find out. So yeah, I mean, it's just part of evolving, but to take such extreme and aggressive steps, really, I don't know what went wrong with. Obviously, the father was not in great mental health, and I'm understanding from your programs as well that he was being taunted that she's making money and you're living off the children, but that does not still justify shooting your own daughter. So it comes back to it's a whole complex structure where it comes back to again managing ambitions for your children, and obviously he was obsessing. He was if you're abroad, you're not allowed to be near the players when they're training, because the coaches and the physios and the mental training people like to do their own job, and the parents itself have to go through counseling to be able to manage their own ambitions about their children and how to what line to draw. Where they start, whether they interfere or they don't interfere in those things. But here you see parents trying to coach their children when they're not qualified to do that. put pressure on them to win. A lot of kids are lost, unfortunately, in India to these kind of pressures where they crumble at a certain age and they don't want to play the game anymore.
Yeah. No, this is just awful what has taken place. Rohit, one final question very quickly in speaking to all of the people that you did speak to, can you tell us a little bit about this young woman? What have they said about her?
Well, they said, they said that she was very, very hardworking. She was just like all the other girls. She was very pleasant, wanting to do well, aspiring to go up in the ranking. She was ranked 35 in India in the women's. So she was doing well as I was trying to talk to people to see if they could find any early signs of father's misbehavior or any kind of such thing. But they said no. The guy was very positive. He was always around, talking to coaches and taking her places and trying to see whether how she could improve and no signs at all, to be very honest. So everybody's in shock that such a thing with this pair of father and daughter could have happened.
All right, Rohit Rajpal, thanks very much for being with us. Dr. Kiran Bedi, Advaita Kala, and Dr. Sunita Gudara, who's an Asian marathon champion, join us. Dr. Bedi, from a policing standpoint, what we are told is that this man, the father, apparently earned between 15 and 17 lakh rupees every month from rental properties. He was financially stable, and yet he perceived his daughter's own financial independence as some sort of a weakness or a threat to his dignity or social standing. Again, what does this say about this mindset? And your thoughts on what appears to be at the core of this horrible patriarchal sense?
I clearly see patriarchy at its worst. And in certain regions of our country, while women are being educated, given this kind of space, and this is to this extent where the father has made her a tennis player, I think is socially not digestible. So there's a very serious contradiction, what a parent may want and what the society will honor him for. The society doesn't go behind him. It probably is in real contradiction. And in certain regions, I'm not mentioning the name of the region, but in certain regions of this country, and let me say regions, certainly in the northern region of this country, patriarchy is sometimes at its worst. And I do rural development programs. I see this every day, where a woman is elected as a woman sarpanch, but she's namesake, and her husband is signing papers for her blatantly, because he says, "Isko nahi aata hai. Ye to women ki seat thi isliye." So while the family takes credit for their daughter-in-law becoming a woman sarpanch, yet actually at home, she's not a sarpanch. She's still the same homemaker, and the husband is, even the brother-in-law, this elder. I see this every day. So I see this father is exactly a very confused father who wants the daughter to be what he has seen can be, and the daughter had the potential. And what a beautiful way she's playing tennis.
Yeah,
I see the way she's stroking it. But a confused man outside in society. So the society is not with him. You need courageous fathers to have daughters do what this girl did. But he did not have the courage. I think he was a very confused father, a weak father, and a very contradicting father. On one hand, he wants something for his daughter. On the other hand, the society is not encouraging him and patting him on his back. Look, I've seen this in my own family. When my father put me onto tennis courts and made me play tennis, my grandfather was not with him. He did it despite his own father. So I think there are these are patriarchal confusions which are existing in this country, and this became very, very evident.
Advaita, reports suggest that some of the tensions which arose from Radhika's Instagram reels, her role in a music video, Karwan. Do you believe that Deepak's disapproval of her public presence stems from conservative values, societal pressure, or specific objections to the content? Do you believe that this was a significant part of what may have, triggered all this? I realize it's speculation, but, we're just trying to figure this out.
I think this beyond. Sorry, carry on.
Advaita, go ahead.
Please. Okay. Okay. I think Vishnu, I'm not really sure what the motive is. This is an interesting case because it's not a who done it. We know who's done it, or at least who's admitted to having done it, but we don't know the why. And the Instagram is an interesting factor because she had a private account. There were only maybe 60 odd people who were connected with her there, of which only 3 or 4 were boys. So in all, in all kinds of research that has come out from this, it goes to show that this was not really a factor as such. Neither was it that video, that music video, which is about 1 year old. So if he was responding to that, then that's a really delayed reaction. Thirdly, he is by all accounts been extremely encouraging of her tennis. He's traveled with her everywhere. He's spent a whole lot of money. He set up an academy in May. Just in May, 2 months ago, for her because she had a shoulder injury and couldn't pursue tennis professionally. So he has been behind her all this time, putting in his time, his money, taking her for, psychological counseling for her games. So it seems like a very supportive father till what happened yesterday at 10:30 a.m. So I think we still don't know what the exact trigger was. And I think that maybe the family, going by reports, the fact that initially they tried to say that it was she took her own life, but when she was shot in the back, that was not a likelihood. And then the mother being not very cooperative, saying that she was in the room and didn't hear anything, didn't see anything, although the uncle came from the first lower floor right up as soon as he heard a loud bang. So it's all very muddled right now, and I don't think that we can at this point jump to any conclusion as to why this took place.
Yep.
Is the underpinning patriarchal notions? Most certainly. But remember, Haryana is also a state where you have a lot of kids in athletics and in sports who have won great laurels for the country, for their village, for their family. You have a lot of girls, for example, in wrestling, who again wear outfits which are like, stretch material, which are short, which are revealing, so to speak. So they come from even smaller towns. This girl came from Sushant Lok, which is a middle class, upper middle class area in Gurugram. So it doesn't tie together at all. I think we need to give it a little more time before we understand what really happened.
No, I agree with you. Dr. Sunita Godara, one way or the other, and I think Advaita makes some important points saying that there's a lot more which will perhaps emerge. But, the fact that we've got a young life snuffed out, she worked very hard to get to doing reasonably well. She played at the state level. She, played in fairly decent ITF tournaments as well. Then she got an injury, took to coaching, which is what a lot of sports people do. She has students as well. We tried to reach out to a few of them. And then something like this happens. Your thoughts at, how a young life has been snuffed out. I mean, that's ultimately what this is about.
It's a loss to tennis also because she was international player herself and she was coaching athletes. She had an academy, which was very successful academy. That's why, that money part is coming, that she was earning well through her academy. It means she had a lot of students in her academy. What father has done, I totally agree with Kirandi, that he was a weak father, confused father. And secondly, once the parents, one side they want their daughters to be, bringing loyalty for the country, doing so well in their field, whatever field they are, and they give them full freedom. And then other hand, they don't want them to be independent, or there is some other reason also. Maybe this video which is shown,
that could have triggered.
This is 1 year old video, what she's saying, but trigger has come, now. And secondly, there is some suspicion. Why mother saying that she didn't know anything, she did not hear anything, she was there in the next room, and she's not speaking, she's not even giving any comment in writing.
No, Dr. Godara, I agree. There are questions
there is
which have to be raised.
some other story behind all this that only investigation can.
All right, thank you
We'll come to
all
know
very
later.
much for being with us. I'm joined now by Vishal Uppal. He's been a former Indian Davis Cup player, a rail champion in his time at the national level, and did extremely well for India. Vishal, thanks for being with us. Your thoughts on the loss of this young life?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think everyone who's heard about this has pretty much been left speechless. It's something which really is unimaginable. And to see something like this happen in 2025, when we should be progressing as, a community or as a society, such a regressive act is just baffling. It's mind-boggling. Considering, Radhika is someone who's traveled. It's not that, she's from a small village, never seen the world or whatever, and the family hasn't traveled. But, it's just, it's ridiculous. It really is.
Vishal, just in terms of her journey, she became a coach, much like so many people, including you. And apparently her success as a coach and her financial independence resulted in some jealousy from her own father. I mean, how do you see this angle in what is emerging?
Well, I don't know the reasons why this has happened, Vishnu, but, for someone like me who's really fighting hard for promoting women's tennis in India, to promoting women getting more chances in India, we should be celebrating and embracing women when they are successful. And especially for a father who's invested a lot of his time and money in helping her become a tennis player and reaching a certain level. Why he's done this, what has happened, is just mind-boggling. But I think, when we see women successful, we need to be cheering them on even more and not, feel jealous about it.
And a final question to you, Vishal. This video that she made for Instagram, apparently a year back, apparently that may have been objectionable. I don't know how, to her father or whoever else. Plus, villagers pressurizing her father, saying that why are you sort of dependent on your daughter, or why is she financially so independent? Does this not hark back to the worst of Indian patriarchy?
Well, I've not seen that video. I've only seen, whatever I've read or seen in the media. But, like I said, why are we becoming such an intolerant nation? We just need to be more kind towards each other. And for something as trivial as this, to kill your own daughter, it's unthinkable. I'm sure as time goes by, more will be revealed, more will come to light. But, for me, like I keep saying, we as a nation, we as people, we as a society, we need to progress, not regress. We're in 2025. Come on, guys. Women need to have their rights. We have to cherish and celebrate them. You can't be praying to Ma Lakshmi and then treating girls like that. It's just ridiculous.
Vishal, it's just so sad. I wish we could be speaking in a better time, but we'll do that as well. Thank you very much for joining us. We're out of time on Left, Right and Center. We'll take a short break. There's more coming up.